surprised me how much it impacted you emotionally. I think you were really like heartbroken.
I kind of just did it out of fear and not really thinking through it. I felt like I had a change of heart.
Like, why do I keep having the same suffering happen over and over and over again? Oftentimes it's because
We
Welcome
are back
Oh
with
my
a
gosh.
special new guest, Emmeline.
You want to say hi?
She actually did want to be in the video.
So we are almost 7 months into being first-time parents.
She is such a doll. Is that?
I know. She's cute.
She's really cute.
But
But
like, how did we make her? Like, this doesn't make sense mathematically. 1
You mean
plus 1.
genetically?
Like, how did 1 plus 1 equal 5?
Yeah, she's like way better looking than me.
She's so
She must
clueless.
get it from her mom. Being a dad, it is great. Like I get to read to her, I get to sing worship to her, play guitar, and it's just like really cool bonding. Honestly, for the first like 5 months, I was just like, is this our daughter? Like,
Yeah,
are we
same.
really parents?
Same. Like, I would stare at her and be like, how are you real?
Yeah.
I still do that sometimes.
But yeah, and honestly, it's giving me like a glimpse of God's love for us. Like I see Emmy with eyes of love, and trust me, not all days are eyes of love. Sometimes they're like eyes of impatience and frustration.
Oh, just wait.
Oh yeah. My biggest fear,
It'll get
my biggest fear going into parenthood was changing diapers.
My gosh.
Especially poopy diapers.
I did a video on that recently about like fears I had or fears that new parents have. And I was like, that is so trivial. We're so scared of like the little things like poopy diapers and making a mess and what else? Like vaginal tearing.
What?
It's like so trivial looking back.
What? You went from making a mess, poopy diapers, vaginal tearing.
I mean, don't you agree? I was like, I didn't even feel anything because of how intense the other stuff was.
Yeah.
We should do a separate episode about the birth.
I mean,
From your
you
perspective.
can.
Well, because a lot of people don't ever hear the husband's perspective. They only hear the wife.
Oh yeah,
The
that's
woman.
true. Yeah, maybe we should.
Yeah.
Being a dad is really awesome, has its blessing in many ways, but there's a big but.
Oh my gosh.
The way that it's impacted me most is that I have less flexibility and autonomy. I remember days
less.
when, guys, when we go out, we just take like a wallet,
Key.
keys, our phone. I bring a water bottle, but that's like 4 items. And yeah, we're gone. We're just skipping down the street and and just going to our thing.
Yep.
But now it's like our schedule revolves around her. Like, when does she need to eat? When does she need to sleep? And if we go out, we need to pack all the necessary things
It's like packing for a
to
trip.
take care of her. And it's packing like a mini trip. And it's just like,
It was hard at first.
yeah, it was hard. It was really hard at first.
We were like, what do we do? We don't even know what to bring or what to.
Yeah, we
what are we
even
doing?
got into like a little bit of some friction. Like, wait, you didn't pack the bottle, or you didn't pack the passy? You as in me. And I was, yeah. I mean, we were just learning, but that's like one thing that's really impacted me. It's just flexibility. Yeah, even though I said I look at her with loving eyes, honestly, like this morning, today it was like eyes of, can you just go to sleep? Just like impatience and frustration.
How's she gonna fall asleep with that attitude projecting on her?
Hey, I'm just being real.
Yeah,
It's like,
I know.
You see all these like parenting things on
Yeah,
Instagram.
it's like so sweet and so like angelic.
And then there's times when I'm like, girl, I command you to sleep. Sorry, I'm talking about you.
It's okay. She can control it.
I know. But that's why there's 2 parents. One is more patient and compassionate than the other. Usually I'm the compassionate one, but with a child, it's... Oh, usually I'm the more... never mind.
You just dug yourself into a hole.
Never mind.
Yeah, I get it.
Like, empathy is like one of my strengths. And so I'm not saying that you're not empathetic. It's just like really just a high strength more than the average person. And so it's just, it tested my patience a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
because it's out of your control. I think a lot of what the first year adjusting as new parents is learning to let go of control, because there's so much about a baby that you just can't control or predict, or like you try all the things, sometimes nothing works, and then you're like, okay, I just gotta roll with how things are going. Sometimes she has a blowout, sometimes she
What's a blowout for people who don't know?
when poop gets everywhere.
You know, when I first heard the word blowout, I thought it was like a type of
The hair.
hairstyle. Like, what is that?
Oh my
Something you
gosh,
get
such
at
a
a salon?
guy. But would you say, I think overall though, like of course there are hard parts, but I feel like observing you really enjoy being a dad and your bond with Emmy. And
Yeah, I mean, I do now. Overall, it's been like a net positive. But in the
so analytical.
our fiscal year annual report, we have yeah, no, it's been really good. I would say like the first few months were just a big adjustment, just with everything.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, it impacts you emotionally, mentally, financially. Just a lot of baby formula and stuff to buy. High level, that's how it's impacted my life as a dad. But
Well, I'll just add that you're a really great dad.
oh, thank you.
So
You're a really great mom.
I feel like, I don't know, if I did a episode talking about dad life from my perspective, as in like me observing you becoming a new dad, I feel like it would be very different from what you just, I mean, yes, I agree, a lot of things have changed, but I feel like seeing you enter your dadhoodness has been one of the biggest blessings in my life.
Tell me more.
He's like, ooh, compliment me more.
Thank you.
No, I tell you, like, it's just like, wow, the way you love Emmy, the way you, like, I know internally you don't always feel it that way, but you, like, sing to her, you play guitar, you're, like, playing with her, you're telling her she's beautiful, she has such a secure attachment to you, like, just the way she looks at you and when you're holding her, most of the time, not all the time. And yeah, the way that you play with her and talk to her and you guys have these conversations back and forth, like,
yeah, we really do have conversations.
See, demonstrate right now.
So yeah, basically I just mimic her.
I was like, translation, please. We should have captions to the bottom.
I know there's a lot to go into motherhood, but
yeah. Well, I'll just go ahead.
How has it changed you personally? What's one thing?
This could be a whole episode. I'll probably do a separate video about it on my channel. If you don't know, I've been actually regularly vlogging on my personal YouTube, which is surprising to me that I even had the energy /time/stamina to do that. But It kind of started as a way to like trauma vlog, honestly, because it was so hard. The first few months were the hardest months of my entire life. Like literally could not. I won't get into the details right now because it's a lot. But if you want to go to my personal YouTube, I share a lot about the challenges, the ups and downs from a first-time mom's perspective, especially in this modern day and age where, I mean, there's just like so much unrealistic expectation on the internet. And from what you see in people's lives, from what you hear from people, and there's just a lot I feel like that's been lost in our world now. This is parent life. We're like multitasking all the time with our baby, like talking with her as we're podcasting.
I'm speaking to the mic.
You want to tell the people how you're feeling? Introduce yourself. Is that hi? I'm Emmy. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube yet, you should totally watch the YouTube version of this episode. Otherwise, when you listen, it'll just be like, pause. I honestly don't think there's a one straight way to answer this question besides literally everything has changed. I'm a new person. I'm a different person in a good way. Becoming a mom has basically like evolved me like a Pokemon, like you said. Like, I think when we did our video about Emily's name and how God literally gave us a divine supernatural confirmation about her name. Check out our YouTube channel for that story. I think you said like I'm like a Pokemon that's evolved from Pikachu to
Did I say that?
what's the one above
Raichu.
Raichu. Isn't there a bigger one? I feel like I'm the biggest.
I only go off the original 100.
Okay.
Is it 150? Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, I only
Pokemon.
go off the original. I don't keep track of the next generations.
It basically helped me discover that there was like a far empowered, more confident, more capable, but also simultaneously humbled version of myself where I'm like, oh wow, I really need to lean on God. I really need to lean on other people. It just showed me my own depravity and my weaknesses and my inadequacies more than ever before. But through that, I mean, just like the Bible says, like it's through our weaknesses that God's power is shown and we see his glory even more. And I literally feel like and this is kind of the topic we actually wanted to talk about in this episode, is we both, in the past 7 months, basically, since we last recorded, we've both gone through our own forms of like death and resurrection, which is, it sounds dramatic, but it's really how it feels like, to be honest.
In late 2024, I honestly just felt anxious and fearful, and I pretty much took, not necessarily whatever job that was available, but I took a job without like, I didn't think too much about it. So it was more like a gut reaction to get income and just have some more stability. I don't want to talk negatively about anyone or any employer, but long story short, let's just say that it wasn't the right culture fit.
I think everybody goes through this. You were interviewing with a bunch of different jobs, worried about the market. The market didn't look that good. Everyone was saying it's a hard time to get jobs right now. And so I think you kind of internalize that as well. Like that you kind of let that add to your fear, from what I could see. And so even though I know you tried your best not to be afraid, but it's like easier said than done. Yeah, when you eventually like heard back from one of the jobs he spent a lot of time preparing for and interviewing for, and he didn't get it, and it was like a real bummer because it looked really promising. It looked like, you know, he was going to get it because they said a lot of positive things about him. They all made it sound like he did really well and that he was going to get it.
I got to the final round too.
Yeah, but then you were just so surprised because you thought you were a shoo-in, and at the end of the day, you didn't get it. And I think that it surprised me how much it impacted you emotionally. I think you were really like just heartbroken. Like, I don't know. I rarely ever see you so emotionally impacted by anything. And
that's good.
Then surprisingly, you told me then that you signed with the other job.
I signed up with another job without honestly talking with Grace. I kind of just did it out of fear and not really thinking through it. Got this job, and going into it, like I said, it wasn't the right culture fit, but honestly, there was a little bit of toxicity that was happening. It just wasn't a place that I was very happy at. And
basically his mental health was deteriorating right in front of my eyes every single day.
I was just like really struggling for like however many months I was at that job. And then
poor Emmy too was, well, first of all, I was like really struggling as a new mom. And then I was just like, because, you know, becoming new parents affects the man and woman differently. So I was like flabbergasted, like, how is he so stressed about his job and his work stuff when I feel like I'm just dying? Like, I just can't even think about anything. And so that was also frustrating too, was like I felt very like, and we talked about this too, like I just felt really alone and like isolated, like, oh, I'm barely holding on by a thread and I'm trying to like around the clock take care of our screaming newborn because she was really colicky and basically like non-stop screamed all the time. I actually have a video on my YouTube channel talking about this. I couldn't wrap my head around like how can Alex be so just all consumed by his work struggles. And it's like, it's even harder because he's working from home in the office, and then it wasn't until our friend came, who is so amazing, and she like flew down to come help us because she saw how much I was just like crying out for help on my Instagram story. She observed and she was like, oh, Grace, I think like Alex seems like, because he says he's like bored at his work, and you're like so overwhelmed with like being a new mom, like you guys can talk more about like dividing and conquering about like baby work, housework, things like that. And I don't know, I just think like I'm just bringing that up because it felt like you were so all consumed by how hard of a time it was at work for you that I guess you didn't see like the chaos that was happening to help me as I was dying. Does that make sense? Like I think because you were like dying and I was dying, so it was just like we're both just dying in different ways.
Yeah.
But it was like that much harder because we were just doing it. We were dying in separate worlds.
That's good.
And then I was gonna say that you weren't able to show up as a full, present, happy self with Emmy, and I saw that impacting how Emmy was interacting with you too. Like, oh my gosh, she's like seeing her dad be miserable and stressed every day. And how is this impacting her neurologically and emotionally as a baby? When their connections are being formed so so significantly in their first year.
Yeah, I even talked to mentors and other people just for advice. Like, what should I do? Should I leave this job? Should I do something else? There's things that I'm interested in and curious about exploring. Fast forward to the end, the punchline is they let me go. And honestly, now this is public, I was honestly gonna leave anyways. It was just a matter of who initiated it first. So they initiated, and I was really shocked because my last performance review, which was a quarter ago, was good. And there wasn't like no formal warning or anything like that, no performance improvement plan. They just let me go. But I think they saw that, this is not going to work out. We're not a fit. Obviously, I was super shocked. And it took some time to really process that. But looking back, it was probably one of the best things that's happened. So that happened in May 2020.
I was very relieved when you shared. Well, I was shocked, but I was also immediately relieved because I just knew it was God releasing you from chains that were keeping you captive.
Yeah.
Because that's what it looked like to me every single day, every day. I was like, oh my gosh, Lord, please, like something needs to happen because my husband his soul is deteriorating, is dying.
Man.
Is just like breaking down in front of me. Like I see him just turning into a zombie.
That bad, huh?
Yeah.
Grace was happy I got let go. I turned out more happier after getting let go.
He's a different person now. I literally told him yesterday, you are a completely different person now compared to when you were at that job.
Oh, dude. Oh, man. If anyone has ever had a toxic or bad job, you know what it's like. I'm unemployed, and now I'm discerning, okay, what do I do next? Do I continue working in tech? Do I explore other things? Eventually, I did sign up for, I have a life coach, and she coached me. I signed up for a program to help me just, in a sense, figure things out and really design my life in a way that is more meaningful for me and just is aligned with God's purposes and all that stuff.
Well, the timing worked out perfectly because you were doing that already before you got let go.
Yeah, I was. And so I was continuing doing that program, and a recruiter reached out to me about a job that I applied to a while ago. Probably a few months before I got let go, maybe a month before.
Wow.
I don't remember the timeline. I was like, do I really want to pursue tech right now? There's still things that I'm interested in that I want to explore. So, okay, I'll explore this opportunity while also exploring other things as well. I just went forward with all the interviews, and I actually really liked the people, the values, the culture. Everything seemed like a really great fit, and honestly, it's really great. Like I was like super stoked about this opportunity. Like
96% on Glassdoor.
I think it was like a 3 or 4 week period of recruiting, and I prepared a lot for this. And Grace helped me a bit too, just with.
It was every day. I was exhausted. Being a parent, you guys, is so tiring, and especially when you're new and still figuring things out. And I was like, we're tired at the end of every day, we're exhausted. And then he's like, can you mock interview me? Can you mock it? I'm just like, I want to sleep. I want some alone time. I want to like chill. So yeah, but that's what wives are for.
Yeah. I'm so glad Grace was so supportive.
But you did work really hard. I was very impressed. I told
Yeah.
my friends, like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've seen them work so hard. It was like his full-time job to prepare for this job interview.
It was only one interview.
Yeah.
Or one company, one role.
Yeah, and the thing was like, because I saw how like last year how much it crushed you when you didn't get it. So I was just praying the whole time, like, Lord, help him if because at the end of the day we don't know what God thinks is best for us.
Yeah.
And his kingdom purposes. Ultimately, it's for his kingdom. It's for his eternal purposes. Like a job is just a job, but it's so easy in our culture and our world to take it so personally and to let it measure us. And there's so many narratives around how our self-worth is tied up with a job, and you work so hard, you did all these things, and it's understandably frustrating when a door closes, even though you worked so hard for it. So anyway, the whole time I was like impressed that you were working so hard. At the same time, I was nervous because I was like, he's working so hard. So if all his eggs are in this one basket and he doesn't like know how to surrender it to God, I don't know if he's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But talk about that surrender process that you were going through as you were applying for the job and interviewing.
Well, the surrender process actually started.
Look at how she's like sleeping so peacefully.
Oh yeah, it's because my voice. People fall asleep to my voice, including my wife.
Yeah, it's true. And Emmy.
Hopefully you're not falling asleep to this podcast. Yeah, the surrender process actually happened while I was at my other job because I was just super frustrated with how things were working, leadership, just a lot of different things I was frustrated with. And I was just processing with my coach. That actually started the process of surrendering and also just crushing the idol of work identity, the idol of money, the idol of success, and just letting go of dreams that I have because it's honestly about God's will being done on earth, not my will be done. And so there were like even material things that I wanted. The trajectory in which my life was going, I didn't feel like it would meet those dreams. And so I really had to learn how to surrender that. And then I guess that's why being let go from that job didn't impact me as much as I thought it would. Don't get me wrong, I was like very surprised. But honestly, I was content as well. So these past few months have been just like continual sanctification, letting go of the things of this earth and things that I think would satisfy me or just bring me fulfillment.
And how would you say that's different from previous? Because I feel like you've been through other trials and challenges before in terms of career or finances and things like that. But like, how do you think this time was so different that you weren't really phased?
Honestly, I think it's just maturity over time. Like, yeah, I've had trials in the past, but I feel like I've grown in my relationship with God in terms of, okay, God's shown himself and proven that he provides, he makes a way. I mean, God can do a lot more than that, but he's just proven himself to be faithful and true to his word in the past, so I can rely on the future.
I think it honestly was just God's grace. Like, I think it's his timing. Like, I think even for myself, like reflecting my own journey, like he knows exactly the timing, the ways we need to learn certain things in different degrees. And I think you've been learning to surrender your career and material things and worldly success and all these things in incremental ways, in different seasons. And I feel like this is just like video games. It's like you level up and you keep fighting different battles, you learn skills along the way, you can use those skills, but ultimately the same skills is not enough to defeat the monsters, the boss, or defeat the challenges in each level. You need to it's still gonna be hard. You still need to train. You still need to lean into the difficulty. But what you've accumulated in the past has helped you. So I just feel like what I've seen is over time, it's kind of like that, like seeing you continue to level up in your faith and the level of surrender, the level of like true belief. And I think it's just like what we see in the disciples, you know, when they follow Jesus, it's like they believe and then they doubt, and then they believe and they doubt, and then it's like back and forth, but it's like incrementally, it's like an upward trajectory trend overall. But I think there's also moments that mark breakthrough, and I think this one was like a fire that God knew he had to lead you through so that you could be purified in ways that you weren't before. But it was painful, and it was like difficult for you.
Yeah.
I think the reason why I could just see it being so God-led, like the trial you went through, is because there was so much surrounding it that was like God was all over it. The day you got let go was a Thursday, and that Saturday you happened to have a ministry call with a ministry you had waitlisted for a call since last summer.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And that ministry call was exactly, because I was like, oh gosh, like you really, I really hope, I told you, right? Like the biggest thing is to just process this with God in a healthy way. Like go journal, like don't job search right away, like go journal or go talk with God and like process this. And it's always helpful, so much more helpful to do that with somebody like guiding you, or, you know, a safe space to process. And of course we have each other, but it's like different when you have an outside perspective or outside party. So you were doing your life exploration with your life coach. You already were deep into this, you know, thinking about like surrendering your career and your circumstances. So it was like God was already setting you up for the trial before it even came. You're already going through a hardship, and he's preparing you for pushing you out of the plane.
Yeah.
So that you have a parachute when you fall.
Yeah.
And so that ministry call, and then also, I don't know, there were just other things going on that I remember feeling so like confirmation after confirmation of like, I can see how this is exactly the journey that God wants you to go on. I remember I told you, I'm like, and other people told you too, if you press into God, seek God, you will emerge out of this a different person, like new, like renewed, and so much stronger, like so much more free, so much more surrendered. But you can only do that through the trial, because it's easy for us to say that we trust God, but we can't really trust and surrender until we're in circumstances that force us to choose, will we trust or surrender? It's
good.
Empty words if we're just like, we trust and surrender. Like we have to go through hard things that will test us so that we actually work on that muscle and build that muscle of trust and surrender and true faith, you know, living out that faith. We've talked about this before, even our own sanctification is not up to our own willpower planning. Like the self-help world kind of makes us think it is. And of course there are things we can do proactively, but at the end of the day, I think so much of it is really God's grace when we ask God, like, we want to be more like you, and we want to glorify you, and we want to be used by you. Like the inevitable byproduct of that is that we will also face challenges that will help us to do all of those things, to be more free, be more surrendered, and therefore be better stewards of what God wants to entrust us with.
That's good. I forget about all those details. I'm such like a big picture thinker that, oh yeah, like, oh, I forgot that ministry call, or oh, I forgot that meeting. The person on that call just said, money is not your provider. And this was before I even shared like whatever was going on in my life. And I'm like, oh wow, dang. Okay, I'm writing that down.
And also right before this too, right before you got let go, you also I mean, you had searched for months, if not multiple years, for like a financial advisor for us. You felt convicted about seeking wise counsel, and that included our finances if we want to be good financial stewards for God's kingdom. You finally picked, I was like, finally, this is the one, because it was so hard to finally land on a financial advisor. And then they are Christian, they are aligned in our values, they are all about long-term generational, you know, planning and everything that we were looking for. And so when you got let go, it was so good. It was such a blessing that we just signed with them so that we could like ask them, what do we do? And not like panic and freak out. And they actually gave us really good, reassuring perspectives that helped ease any fear or worry.
Yeah.
Because it could be so easy to just assume, oh gosh, like he doesn't have a job. He needs a job right away. But they actually reassured us, like based on our finances, that we don't have to panic. We need to chill out.
Yeah.
And that gave you more peace of mind too, I think. And me too.
Yeah.
Especially as parents.
Yeah, I definitely think, this is another topic, but I think we can be so emotional with money. And for a lot of people, money is not objective. It's more emotional. Yeah, that definitely helped. And all these events have just helped me to just surrender this idol of work, money, success, what have you. Going back to my interviews, I was interviewing and doing well and advancing through all the rounds. And then final round interview, it was a long day. I was so tired. Had the final round, and on a Monday, that was when I was gonna get the news. It was like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, not hearing anything. 5 o'clock, still not hearing anything. And I'm like, oh man, I'm just like worst case scenario. I probably got rejected. But you know what? I was actually okay. So 5:30 came, and the recruiter reached out, and she basically so kindly in recruiter language said, yeah, we moved on with another candidate. You were really close. It was a hard decision. And I remember I was at Costco shopping, and I saw the email, and honestly, I was shocked, I was disappointed, but at the same time, I felt really at peace with it because I remember, okay, it's very cliche to say that God has a plan, but this time I just remember that every single detail of my life has happened for a reason and for all of us. And it's led me to where I am. Even I just remember the disappointments I've had in the past and jobs I wanted to get or doors I wanted to open, but they closed. And I look back and like, yeah, it was God's provision in shutting some doors down and not letting me walk through certain paths. And I just remember that. And yeah, I have a group of guys that I meet up with as well, and they just reminded me that. And so when I got the email, I was disappointed, but I was ready to move forward. Like, yeah, okay, great. I put all my work in this. I prepped for these interviews, and honestly, my heart was just like, it was a bit of disappointment and also a bit of letting go as well. So that was on a Monday.
Well, can I just say I was super surprised, I think, on the opposite side, because like the previous year, when you got rejected from your other job and kind of similar thing happened, I was like, oh my gosh, why is he so crushed? And so when you
I
heard the
was
news,
so crushed.
when you heard the news on, this was last Monday, I was so worried about you because you texted me like you told me you didn't get it, and then I was like, oh gosh, here we go. Like either this will be the real test, like either he's gonna come home be super distraught again, be really emo for like a few days, and we're gonna have to deal with the aftermath, or maybe he will, I mean, I was just praying for you, and I asked my friends to pray for you too, that you would be okay, and not that you would be okay, but just ultimately your trust wouldn't be on your circumstances or like the job stuff, because it seriously is such a big stronghold, I feel, for our generation, for Asian Americans especially, but also like in our day and age where so much emphasis is on career and success and comparing yourself on LinkedIn and social media and like what's your job, and in American Western society it's like such a big part of your identity it takes up too much space in our culture. When I saw that you were okay and you told me to everything that you just said, I was like, oh wow, his faith it really has grown.
Yeah.
I was so impressed, and I knew God
Yeah.
was like infinitely more impressed too. Like, please, because faith is how you please God. When Jesus talks about like being in awe of, or how faith is beautiful, and faith is what just strikes him. And see in Hebrews too, like Abraham and Joseph and David and Noah and all these people, Esther, Mary, it was counted them righteousness because they had faith. The real point of all of this that you were going through, that I knew that God was leading you through, was not to get you necessarily to like a job, although I knew he would lead you somewhere eventually in the right timing. But I knew like the best possible thing that could come out of this, if you continue to lean in to what God was doing, is that you would have a transformed, surrendered heart, and you would be free from the shackles of like career and work and financial anxiety.
Yeah.
And it happened.
I agree with all of that, but the story gets better.
Yes, it gets better.
Monday, I get the rejection. Obviously, a mix of disappointment, bit of surrender as well. On Tuesday, my coach texted me and just asked me how I was doing because I shared with her the news. And anyways, we had a conversation. In the morning, I was with my quiet time with God and just processing things. And what I learned is I learned to be grateful, focus on things that I have and not focus on things that I lack. I mean, this mentality of just focusing on lack has been just very generational, and it's taken a while to break off. But so rejection on Monday, Tuesday to Thursday, I felt like I had a change of heart. I remember I was so thankful to even see in color. I was thanking God for the ability to hear sounds and music, the ability to touch and feel things, for my body to walk, run, lift weights. And then I thought, there are people who are literally blind. There's people who are deaf or both. There's people who are on wheelchairs or are not as mobile as me. I have a working car. The previous day, I saw someone who was walking to catch her bus to probably go home. And I was honestly like really crying because I was so thankful for the things I had. Like, wow, God has really blessed me. And yeah, even though this rejection sucks, I just felt like I win, whatever the circumstance.
That's so
And
good.
so,
Because previously you would have focused on, oh man, didn't get the job and I have no potential prospects because I didn't apply to other jobs. It would be like lack focused.
right.
And now it's like abundance focused. Like, oh wow, look at all the things that I have. A wife and a baby. You forgot to mention.
Yeah, that too. I mean,
It's obvious.
yeah, it's given.
Just kidding. But yeah, I was really
Yeah.
impressed by that because I remember you also had a positive attitude because I was like, oh gosh, if he goes into like fear spiral, he's gonna like go into his cave and like mass apply to jobs that don't fit his gifts and talents and what he's called to. And then for me, it's like so much of what I think about now as a mom is like our baby is only gonna be a baby for so long, and how can we just make the most of being present together and taking advantage of this really sweet age she's at where we can like go to places. She's not too mobile yet, so it's not too crazy and too difficult, although she is getting a little fussier. But there's so much that we could be doing. And then I just was so surprised when you were like, let's go to the museum or let's go to the aquarium. And I was like, okay, sure. I'm so happy that you're like willing to go on adventures and not be like in panic mode.
Yeah.
That's faith.
Yeah. Rejection Monday, Tuesday to Thursday was just like having fun, like enjoying life, basically. Just like doing things that I wouldn't have otherwise, like going to museums, going to the aquarium, spending time with Grace and Emmy, going out, doing stuff, right? Just doing life and just enjoying it.
And still pressing into also life exploring. Like you were reading You Are Called by John Bevere.
Yeah, exploring. That's a great book, by the way. I asked the recruiter beforehand, like, how come I got rejected? What was the reason? And she gave me the reason, like, yeah, we were really close, and it was just like this little thing. It was just like marginal difference, and we moved forward with someone else. That was on Thursday at like 5:30 p.m. Next day, roughly almost to a T, close to 5:30 p.m. on a Friday, the hiring manager of this opportunity that I got initially rejected by reached out and said, hey, Alex, do you have time to talk on like next week? We have a quote unquote wonderful update for you. I'm like, wonderful update? What could
It
this
sounded very
be?
enthusiastic.
Like,
seriously.
I've never had this happen before. So I was just surprised and also confused because usually when people reject you, like, okay, it's done, right? They're not going to change their mind. But I'm like, wonderful update. This could either mean there's another role that opened up. Did you have additional headcount? Because the role I applied to only had one. Like, they were very clear. We only have one spot. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I'll get on a call on Monday. So that was Friday. And then
Suspense
on
for 3
Monday,
days.
I got on a call with them because I'm curious what this wonderful update is. And they told me that these are their words, not mine. That they were so impressed with me during the interview process that the previous week they were trying to get leadership to have another spot on their team because they believed in me so much and that they saw so much potential and things that I could add or value that I can add that they just wanted me as part of the company. I'm like, wow, I feel very honored and very privileged. And so Monday came and they gave me a verbal offer. And I'm like, what? That's so crazy. And so they gave me all the figures, all the numbers.
Which,
And
just for people's context, if you're not familiar with how corporate life works, getting additional budget for new headcount on your team is really rare and really difficult usually. And so they
yeah.
said they told you that they like never do that, and they did it for you. And I was also just like shocked, like, what? I've never heard of that happening in my experience in different forms of leadership too. So yeah, it was just so amazing. And I just wanted to add that because I remember we were both like so shook, like, wait, what? How is this happening? Like, literally the door was closed. Like, God made a way where there is no way. Like, he's split the sea for you.
Yeah, he really did. But that's not the end of the story. So that was on Monday. And so I got an offer, obviously really stoked, got all the numbers. Next day, I had a meeting with a friend because I wanted to shadow him because he was doing something that I was interested in doing, possibly exploring another career route. I was just telling him, hey, I got a job offer. I'm trying to negotiate them. Not really sure how. And he literally asked me, do you want some help with that? I'm like, sure. And
like,
he
like
himself,
what are the chances that you would be meeting with him on that day?
well, he's a financial advisor and he helps clients negotiate. And I'm not a client of his, but he graciously helped me negotiate well. So he was just coaching me and like helping me craft the email. And I sent the email out, and I had an ask that was kind of by my own strength or my own choice. I wouldn't have made that ask because it was like, I thought it was too high. And so I just sent it. Like, the worst they can say is no. They got my email and said, hey, Alex, I want to talk. Let's talk more. And then got on a call with them. And in a roundabout way, they actually met what I asked for and beyond. And so I'm just
Amazing.
like super, first of all, that meeting with my friend was not,
It wasn't planned. Like, you didn't plan.
I didn't plan to say, hey, I got this offer. Can you help me negotiate?
It just came up.
It just was already on the calendar. And it was just like very serendipitous.
He actually rescheduled that with you, right? It was
He
supposed to be earlier.
did. He did. Actually, I rescheduled.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, I have interviews. But now he's helping me with this.
Yeah.
I mean, God's provision is so great. Basically, the final offer, and this is not what life is about, but it was about 90% more than what I was making before, which was like, oh, wow, this is
90%.
This is really, really awesome.
I feel like also what's part of this is like, how did you know God wanted you to take this job? Because it could have, you're exploring your calling, you're exploring different fields, different areas, and
there's just so much to the story. Like, this is
that could be a separate episode.
Believe it or not, this is the high level. I didn't talk to you about like the people I met, the people at the company, relationships from 10 years ago that played into this.
Oh yeah.
And
other believers at the company who we both know.
So anyways,
world.
super crazy. But yeah, I think the biggest takeaway out of all this is it's not about the outcome. It's honestly having a surrendered heart and really saying, God, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Yeah, just throughout this process, man, I was just like dying in my previous role. And then now I'm like super excited and I want to start. I want to meet people.
I went through a very similar transformation refinement thing as a new mom through the postpartum trenches. I emerged from that literally a new person where I felt so much more freed, empowered, but I also had like this, it just felt like I had superpowers all of a sudden. I just saw the world completely differently, where I had like spiritual clarity on what like really matters, about trusting God, because if he got me through what felt like was the hardest thing, and I could see how he was in it and how he was already redeeming it and using it for the better, I just had so much faith. Like, oh wow, now it's Alex's turn. And so now, like, now that we've seen so much of it unfold, I'm sure there's more that's going to happen that God is going to continue to reveal to us. But I think from what you've shared, we were talking about the other day, just wow, you went through a wilderness season after you left you left 2 jobs ago when we moved here to San Diego without a plan, without a job. And then, so many unexpected things happened. We had a baby, we started a business, we, launched our course, and then you also entered that other job, but then also went through like so much trial in that job.
Yeah.
And I think you went through so much, and then now it's like it's like restoration, where you had everything you had previously but better, like so much better, where now you have a baby, now we live in a place that actually matches like our family values, that we want to raise our future family, or our current family, but the future of our family we want. And then also community, we have so much better, like everything now is so much better, but it wouldn't have happened if we hadn't taken that risk and stepped out in faith. So I just feel like the big theme I see is like, when you just trust God, literally everything works out. Like literally everything comes by his grace. And it is the enemy that wants us to, and influences in the world that he uses, wants us to doubt and wants us to be like, oh, good for them, like it worked out for them, but what if it doesn't happen to me? Or like, God could do this, but I don't know. Like, there's just so much pulling at us to continue holding on to control and fear and doubt. We just wanted to share this testimony to share, like, he literally could do anything. He can add headcount to a team that has never even worked with Alex before. And it's like so wild to me, like how that all happened.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And also the fact that like we can live in San Diego and raise our family, and I can stay at home, and there's just like so many things that just don't make logical sense. Like neither of us are engineers, neither of us are like high paid, like executives that make a lot of bank, and it's just, God is crazy in the best way.
Yeah, the verse that comes to mind is Proverbs 3. It's a pretty familiar one. Trust in the Lord, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways submit to him, and he will direct your path.
Yeah.
Or he will keep your path straight. Yeah.
And to us, it doesn't make sense because we're like, we think we know what the straight path is. But actually what we see is just like an imaginary, like, oh, it should be this way. And God is like, that's actually not the path.
Yeah, it's such a familiar verse that's like, oh yeah, it sounds great. Trust God, he'll keep my path straight. Awesome. But honestly, you just trust. Like, we're parents now, and there's things Emmy wants to do, and we're just like, girl, just trust us. You're not ready to eat this pizza. Just trust us. It's for your good. And so it's kind of like that. You literally trust that God is good to you. He has good and perfect plans. Just commit whatever you do, and he'll direct the path.
So much of it hinges on our understanding of his character, because if you don't understand God as a good and loving father, which I feel like I've also gotten such a deeper understanding seeing how you love Emmy, like as a dad, and just being like, God loves us like that, but like so much more. And also how I love Emmy too, and she doesn't do anything useful or productive, she's like crying and needing things and interrupting our our plans, but it's like we love her so much, and it's like, oh wow, God loves and adores us because we're his kids. But on top of that, what you were saying about just trust, I just feel led to share an encouragement. Whoever's listening, like, the reason why we can say these things with so much confidence now is because we went through the fire to get to the other side of seeing how true that is. And I think if you don't die, like there's that song, I forgot what it's called, but we were saying like it describes my journey, like the past 7 months or the past year, and then also yours now. It's like some things have to die for new things to come alive.
Ooh.
And so often we're scared of death, where we think, we associate death with something bad or negative or something to avoid, something to prevent at all costs. And not to say like we should willingly look for death, but it's just like,
or suffering.
In a spiritual sense, like death is oftentimes the necessary thing that springboards us into renewal, into transformation, into new life that God wants to bring into our lives, and even transform us, as people. And I think if you're going through a hardship, if you're going through a fire or a challenge, it's so easy for us to be like, avoid, like, let's just fix it, let's just change the situation. But I think the lesson that the both of us have learned is like, or experienced recently, in a new and profound deeper way is like lean into it. Like if you have a trial, if you have a challenge, seek God in it and let him use it to transform you so that you can become more free and more surrendered and more trusting him on the other side. Otherwise, if you keep resisting, if you keep trying to control and, you know, just take, for example, your job thing. If you had reacted similarly, like, you know, a lack mentality, anxiety mentality, it would just repeat the same vicious cycles. And this is why so many people are stuck in the same vicious cycles of like, why do I keep having the same suffering happen over and over and over again? It's oftentimes it's because we haven't submitted, you know. We haven't said, okay, God, what do you think? Like let me bring it to you, let me open up my hands to you, because I don't actually know what I'm doing and I need help. And I not only need help, but I am willing to lay down my ego and my perceived sense of control or knowledge to actually follow you in faith and to see how you will come through. But you just can't experience what the glory that comes out the other side, the glory of God and the power of God and the miracles of God, if you don't give him that chance and you're just like continuing to like strive, continuing to try to control. And the more you do that, the worse it gets, and the more you're stuck in these cycles indefinitely.
Just on that verse, Proverbs 3, lean not on your own understanding. I think that's the part that really grips me is there's things I want to understand and there's things that I want to control. And the reason why we control is we think we know best and we want to control things that we understand. Yeah, I mean, just this whole journey, lean not on your own understanding. Like, I don't know why I got let go. Looking back, it's like, oh, this is great. I'm glad it happened.
You also,
in hindsight,
you also gained more deep friendships from other godly, you know, God-fearing guys from your pursuit group that you joined after you got let go because you had time in the early mornings.
Yeah,
there's so many things that you actually you gained from losing. Like it's like the only way to save your life is to lose it. I know that applies to, you know, eternity and your soul and all that, but in the same fashion in life, it's like oftentimes when you surrender and when you let God strip things away from you, you actually can gain even more if you look in the right directions and press into the right things. Like for you, you know, seeking out the Pursuit men's group that you're part of now and other relationships in your life. And for me, like also similarly, when I was like going through such a hard time as a new mom and I reached out, and now I have like such supportive like mom friends and just other things in my life where I'm like, oh, that would never have happened if I hadn't like leaned into that.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, we gotta feed her now.
Yep.
Anyway, hope that was encouraging.
Yeah,
and this is a new format if you haven't noticed. And we just hope that it lets you feel like you're hearing from real people with real stories and real challenges and ups and downs, because, you know, AI is coming and
you know,
why are we still podcasting when AI can tell us everything, right?
That is actually an episode that we are planning on doing.
How do we navigate life in the world in the future as Christians in a world of AI that's going to be increasingly so? And that's been top of mind for both of us for the past few months. So we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about parenting. We'll talk about finances. We'll talk about just life, just things that have been on our minds. Most importantly, about God and about how to live by faith in the midst of all of these crazy things happening in the world. So.
Yeah. Emmy, anything you want to say?
Anything you want to add?
Great. Thank you, Emmy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you guys next time.
See you guys.